Hello. One of today's jobs is moving and transplanting this huge hydrangea behind me. And I'm not moving or transplanting it because I don't like it. I actually quite like hydrangeas, but if you've watched my video garden design at Rose Cottage, you'll know that I'm about to turn this whole area into a formal box parterre. But before I get started on moving this, let me tell you a little bit about what I know about hydrangeas. An interesting fact about hydrangeas is the colour of the blossom can depend on the acidity of the soil they grow in. So the same plant can have a different colour blossom depending on whether it's in alkaline or acid soil. And the way you prune it depends on what type of hydrangea it is. Because often hydrangeas flower on the second year's growth. And I've been having a look at this particular hydrangea to try and establish what sort it is. And I can see from last year's blooms that in the centre here there are the remnants of some very delicate flowers, and those are surrounded at the outside by some slightly larger petals, which suggests to me that this is not a typical mop head, but quite possibly a lacecap. My understanding is that both lacecaps and mop heads are pruned in exactly the same way if you want to encourage blossom this year. In the springtime, you would remove last year's heads and you would prune back to where you can see a flowering bud. If you pruned any further back than that, in other words, what I'm going to do today, right back to the base, you would be removing the flower buds, and that will stop it from producing blossom this year. As I've already stated, I'm not pruning this for blossom, I'm pruning this back so that I can move it. And I've chosen the time of year quite carefully. We're in January, before spring has started, when the plant is in dormancy, which means that it's not putting too much demand on its root system, which I'm about to disrupt. And my theory is, if I prune it hard back, but I protect as much of the root ball as possible, when it springs to life, when the weather starts to warm up, the root will be able to support the plant, because there won't be too much plant putting too many demands on the root ball. So the first thing I'm going to do is prune it hard back. Another one of the reasons I want to move this is because it does dominate the view from the sitting room window. So outside this window, I'd like to see across the garden to the fields beyond. I don't want anything with too much height blocking the view. And that's why I've decided on quite a low level, formal, low maintenance parterre for this whole area. You can probably see to my right and over there in the corner, there's a couple of roses, and I want to save those too. I don't want to waste any of the plants in this area because they're quite nice and they're quite well established. So I am going to be doing a video on how to move and relocate roses. And the roses in this garden will be relocated to a rose arbour, which I'm going to be making down a path over there in another part of the garden. These Ratchetloppers are making really light work of this hydrangea. It's very soft wood, it's not woody, it's not hard, it's easy to cut through. If you want to know more about these Ratchetloppers, I have done a video of them on my channel, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below this video. I'm not only pruning this back in order to reduce the demands on the root system after it's been moved, I'm also giving myself easier access to the ground around the roots when I come to start digging in a moment. It's quite satisfying watching these branches fall away and seeing the area open up. I know some florists use these dead heads for flower arranging because they are quite attractive even though they are dead. I'm just going to move all the waste out of the shot, then we can step back and have a look at it. There's a nice little trough here which I've inherited when I bought the house, and I'll be using that in a garden project in the near future, possibly as part of a herb garden. I could use that for the mint because it would help contain the roots, because mint is quite aggressive, or I could use it as part of an alpine garden, but we'll come back to that. I'm just going to use the rake now to scrape away and clear the ground around the base of the plants before I start digging. The people who had this house before me, who I bought it off, had it as a second home, a holiday home that their family used to use, and I think they went for quite a low maintenance garden, which is why everywhere you'll find sheets of polythene and weed fabric, because that's quite a good idea if you're not on the premises all the time. So I've now got this down to a very manageable size, but in my eyes it's still a little bit big and I can afford to take it down even further. So I'm just going to use a smaller set of loppers just to take it down even smaller. In the process of doing this, I'm also removing a lot of dead wood, which was crowding the base of a plant. And I always think it's good for any plant to remove the dead wood because it lets the air in to circulate and prevents from diseases getting hold. As I slice through a lot of these branches, I can see very visible signs of life. So I'm quite confident that when I've transplanted this, it's going to do quite well. If this was your hydrangea and you weren't relocating it as I am, it wouldn't do it any harm to prune it back like this. You just might not get any blossoms on this year's growth. But if you're patient and wait till next year, it will reward you with blossom again. Now that it's down to ground level, the next job is to do a bit of digging around the roots. I'm going to use a spade and a fork. I'll probably cut through several roots. I don't mind reducing the root ball a little because the demands on it are now much reduced, and we are in winter, so it's in dormancy, so it's not really growing anyway. And by springtime, when the ground warms up, it will be able to create some new roots to support the new growth above the ground. So let's get the fork and the spade, and I'm now warmed up, so let's do a bit of digging. Everywhere there is weed fabric, but apart from that, I'm quite pleased with the quality of this soil. It's very loose and fine. I have just bought this fork and spade set off Amazon. It's only cheap. I do go through them. I tend to bend them and break them, so I've resorted to only buying cheap ones. The first time I've used these, I'm quite pleased with them so far. They seem quite strong, although this is lovely soft soil. We'll see how we get on in a moment with the root ball. There are some bricks here placed which define the edge of the path. I'm going to remove them because they're not going to be here permanently, although there will be probably a line of bricks at the edge of the path when I put the parterre in. Well, they're in the way just here as I'm trying to dig this out. They're not a permanent feature, so I'll remove them now and I shall preserve them for later use. I don't like to waste anything in the garden, which is why I'm saving this plant. It will probably pop up somewhere else in another video in the future. There's some little bulbs here which are just starting to come up, which indicates that spring is just around the corner. I shall put them to one side. I might keep them, put them there for now. Every now and then I'm checking to see how much give there is. It's still quite solid, that, so there's still some digging to do before it comes out, but I'm going to use my handy little grubbing hoe here just to get under. A great little tool, this. Only cost me about 10 quid off Amazon. It's a brilliant thing
Again, I will put the link below this video. It's starting to go, as you can see. Just needs a bit more on the other side, down here. I'm sure it seems quite aggressive and destructive what I'm doing here, but in my experience, plants are very resilient. Nature's a powerful force, and this will grow back and have a new life in another location. And away it comes. I've just taken a bit more soil off that. It does fit in there, just about. What I need to do is get a base of soil underneath it and backfill around the edge so that the roots are in contact with soil. I'll give it one good watering, but then I won't wash it again until the spring. It's called a hydrangea, and funnily enough, hydrangeas do like water, but they don't like to be waterlogged, so until it starts growing again, once I've got some soil in and given it a good soaking, I'm just going to leave it in a cool, sheltered, light place, and then in the spring I'll have decided where it's going. It'll produce new roots, we'll start to see some evidence of growth, and I'll pop it in the ground, and then it'll have a completely new life. Let's get some soil under it. I'm not even going to use compost. I'm just going to use the soil it was sat in because it's relatively good soil. It's well drained, it's got some nice rocks and stones in it, and that'll do. It's dormant, it's not growing fast at the moment, so that can go in there. Tuck those roots in, and then we shall backfill. I'm going to get it out of the hole before I add any more weight to it, so there's a little tip for you. Move it while it's light. It's going to be transported on this. It's already quite heavy. On it goes. And I shall drag it away. Giving it a good soak like this is not necessarily to water the plant because it's not growing, it's dormant at the moment, but it will help the soil make contact with the roots for when it does start growing, and the soil will warm up sooner than the air around the plant, and that will give the roots a head start on the plant, which means it should have some reasonably new good roots before it needs them to provide the growth up here. So there we are, one hydrangea, pruned hardback, removed from the soil, put into a pot, ready for transplantation to somewhere else in the garden next spring or summer when I've decided where its permanent home will be. It'll be quite happy in this pot for a period of months, as long as I keep it well watered and fed in the growing season. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do hit the like button, and also I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now, so thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed so far, and I'll see you soon.